Good Tuesday morning, everyone, from Ukraine. Zhenya and I are out here on the front lines. And before we get our day started here on this Tuesday, day number 916 of this continuing war in Ukraine, I want to give you a couple of the key things that have happened, especially since yesterday when I was updating you about the infrastructure attacks and the mass air attacks on Ukraine. And yes, Ukraine is reeling from that. I was driving, I'm in different positions now, so I was driving between major cities on the fronts yesterday, late last night, Sumy regions, down to Kharkiv regions, and I can tell you for hundreds of kilometers I was driving and there was no power, zero. Fuel stations were not even able to function. Fortunately, Zhenya and I had decided to fuel up in a different region we were in, because if we had not, we probably would have been in trouble. We saw vehicles that were stopped, out of fuel, military people needing pulls to different cities to get fuel. You know, when you think about power and infrastructure going out, many times you just think about electricity or water. But fuel stations, the computer's ability to run, the ability for trucks to reload fuel, offload fuel, guys, everything requires power. And I can tell you, yesterday's strike on Ukraine devastated the power infrastructure. In addition to that, I can tell you this morning we're waking up to information from Ukrenegro, which is the energy company here in Ukraine, that they will be applying 4-cycle shutdowns. I've already got information from my home city where they're completely blacked out, but what they're going to attempt to do is get about 8 to 10 hours of power a day. So you may have power for an hour or two, then it will be off 4 or 5. And that is going to be for the foreseeable future. I can tell you that even now, in many regions of my home city and others around Ukraine, still no power and no water. So a 4-wave cycle shutdown of power is happening right now here in Ukraine. Now, that is before the second wave attack happened. Last night and early this morning, there was a second wave attack. About 20 some different types of missiles, 85 Shaheeds, about 30 of those did hit their targets. I can tell you that there were 4 killed and 16 wounded in President Zelensky's home city of Kryvyi Rih. And just devastating attacks in Kryvyi Rih just a couple of hours ago, to be quite honest. August 28th, tomorrow, has been declared a day of mourning for Kryvyi Rih. And that city, which was not hit too much on the first wave attack, this morning was hit very hard, as well as other places. So I can also tell you on the third thing that the battles, the incursion into Kursk, and we are supporting guys that are on that front area. We know what's going on there very well. It continues. Ukraine is doing a good job in trying to cut off some territorial regions there, not too far in from the border, but it's giving them the ability to capture soldiers that could lead to further prisoner exchanges, etc., etc. So there are good things happening there in the Kursk region, and I can tell you right now, this morning there is also an incursion into the Belgorod region at a border checkpoint, up to, well, I won't say. There are Ukrainian soldiers pushing an incursion at a Belgorod checkpoint and border region there. So that would be Kursk regions, and now Belgorod regions are getting pressure on them from the armed forces of Ukraine. And of course, anything of that nature is always a good turn. Now, what's not a good turn? Novogrodovka has fallen. You may say, okay, Greg, I don't know where Novogrodovka is. I will tell you, if you look over to the right on the map there, that's under my video right now, you see it with an arrow to it. Novogrodovka is a decent sized city that is on the pathway to Pokrovsk. Zhenya and I will be supporting this area over this week, and you will see much more video. We'll have much more detailed information. But I can tell you, yes, lots of good news happening in Kursk and now Belgorod. Terrible news with the wave attacks that have happened over the last 24 hours. Terrible. But Novogrodovka, you may ask, okay, Novogrodovka, what size is it? Well, this is the bad part. Novogrodovka is a city of 14,000 people pre-war. It fell in 3 days. Now, guys, you know, you have heard Chasiv Yar. It's bigger than Chasiv Yar. Chasiv Yar is still holding on. It's bigger than other places that took months and months and months to fall. Novogrodovka fell in 3 days, and Russia has it. And they are pushing to Pokrovsk. Guys, I remind you, as I always do, Pokrovsk is the key city that we must hold on to. It is not OPSEC. It is public information. It's logical. Look at the map. Supply roads, supply lines, and paved highways. So Novogrodovka falling is a serious problem. But we will keep you updated. We are working in all of these regions right now. In fact, I can tell you I'm deeper than Novogrodovka right now. Way deeper. Lots of good aid drops today. Plan to be dropping plenty of videos, hoping for a few lives if we can get to secure locations, very secure, because there are certain soldiers that want to come on here and they want to say thank you for supporting them, and they want to talk to you. So stay tuned for that. The final thing for this morning is Zelensky has requested Biden to review further permissions to strike different targets inside of Russia now. He says, listen, we've validated what we can do. Please grant us some permissions to further hit, to further strike, to further do things that will help us defend ourselves. The final thing, and it's not on the list, but I can tell you the final thing this morning is Ukraine is preparing right now, receiving the intelligence, receiving the information that there will be a third wave massive attack. And guys, for the most part, Russia is trying to take out the electrical infrastructure. And I can tell you, it's very difficult. Very difficult. So wherever you're at today, whatever time you watch this, remember Ukrainians in your heart. Most Ukrainians today will deal with significant power issues, water issues, and yes, it is still very hot here in Ukraine, and life is not simple. You guys be blessed. Stick with us. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do. Thank you for liking, dropping a comment, and thank you for sharing. You guys have a great day and be blessed. Amen. Bye-bye.